When we think of the color green, we often associate it with wealth and money. I think the color green as a symbol of the refreshing taste of Mountain Dew and Shrek. However, in F. Scott Fitzgerald's novel, The Great Gatsby, the color green is taken in a whole new approach, being replaced by the color yellow as a symbol of wealth and money. However, this will be discussed later on in the video. At one point in the novel, Nick Carraway, the main character and narrator of this book, sees Jay Gatsby standing at the end of his dock, stretching his arms out, trying to reach a mysterious green light somewhere in this lake. In this novel, it's described, he stretched out his arms toward the dark water in a curious way, and as far as I was from him, I could have sworn he was trembling. Involuntarily, I glanced seaward and distinguished nothing except a single green light, minute and far away. That part describes how Gatsby is trying to reach that green light, which can be a symbol of his love for Daisy and the future he wants to have with her. However, because he can't reach it, it can also show how it's impossible for him to achieve that dream. This green light can also be compared to the American dream. As an immigrant approaches America, they can think of the future for their families and hope. In the passage of The Great Gatsby, Gatsby believed in the green light, the orgastic future that year by year recedes before us. It eluded us then, but that's no matter. Tomorrow, we will run faster, stretch out our arms further. Sweep beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. However, the difference between this and the American dream is that Gatsby is trying to relive his past and go back on an impossible dream, not the American dream. For immigrants and other people going to America in hopes of achieving equal opportunity and freedom, Gatsby is trying to repeat his past, which ends up being his downfall as he dies at the end of the novel. Now let's hear about the color yellow and what that represents.
Thank you, Nick, for that lovely transition. Before I start to talk about the yellow, the color, in The Great Gatsby, I want to talk about what we associate yellow in real life. It is one of the brightest colors on our color spectrum. It attracts our eyes immediately, just like that, if you're ever stuck in traffic looking at cars. We also see it in flowers and animals like bumblebees and daffodils. And we also normally associate it with happiness and optimism, which you can sort of see with animals and flowers. We also see it in the sunshine and spring and happiness and just all around good times. Sort of like this tennis ball. You know, going down to the court to play some tennis. Just good old fun times. But in The Great Gatsby, that dream is thrown right down the drain. And in The Great Gatsby, we see yellow as a symbol of moral decay, corruption, dishonesty, deception, and wealth. We first see yellow in the novel as in the parties that Gatsby throws, the first one that Nick Carraway goes to. We could hear in the quote, the yellow cocktail music, which is using yellow to appeal to the wealthy and unmoral. We also see it in Gatsby's Rolls Royce, which at the beginning we see it and we're like, wow, this object of beauty and power and wealth is something that everybody would want. But later on, spoiler alert, the car runs over Myrtle and kills her, showing the corruption and dishonesty and deception that wealth can bring people. And you could say Gatsby was making his way downtown, driving fast, bodies fly, and he's homebound. Do. This joke sucks. Do. I want to stop doing it now. We also see yellow as a fake gold. Gold is something of power and wealth, something that everybody sort of strives for. We see that when the Spanish conquistadors came over to the Americas in search of wealth to help strengthen their nation as to strengthen their own personal power. But fake gold, looking at it as that, it's not as alluring as the real thing. We can see that with the two yellow-dressed girls in one of Gatsby's first parties that Nick Carraway is invited to, compared to the Golden Jordan. We see Jordan as, and I quote, Jordan's slender golden arm resting in mine, and I put my arm around Jordan's golden shoulder. We see that as Jordan being the real thing that everybody strives for, but the yellow girls, as luring as they might be, they're still the fake thing and decepting you at the beginning. We also see the car as Gatsby's desire for Daisy. It's corrupted in the sense for what he wanted. He strived to get Daisy like he did 5 years ago, but he along the way pretended to be somebody who wasn't, deceiving himself and everybody, and just not being who he actually is, which was the person that Daisy fell in love with, as we can show through the moral corruptness of the color yellow. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.